CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Buffalo head coach Chan Gailey in his third season as the head coach of the Bills, and interim head coach and offensive coordinator Bruce Arians, who has taken over for head coach Chuck Pagano after Chuck was diagnosed with leukemia in late September. Buffalo has won the toss. They have deferred, so the Colts will receive. Andrew Luck getting ready.
Yeah, I'll tell you, just about every crew that's come through here, network crew that's come through here, I'm sure has been so impressed with Andrew Luck, and I have as well. Just so mature. The guy that's done a great job, extremely humble. You can tell it's not too big for him, and you realize that the nearly impossible task of replacing an icon in Peyton Manning, I think he's handled it all so well.
Indianapolis Colts, after starting at 2-3, now 6-4 with the 4 wins the last 5 games. Last week, though, at New England, they were blown out by the Patriots 59-24. And the question is, how will the Colts respond today after that pounding last week? Joe LaFege, second-year man out of Rutgers, is back for the kickoff. And for Andrew Luck last week, a very long day. Intercepted 3 times, 2 returned for touchdowns, lost a fumble. Ryan Lindell, in his 13th year out of Washington State, getting set to kick it away. Angled to the far side, and here's LaFege across the 10. And stacked up, reaching out to the 15-yard line. So he returns it 13 yards. Look at the Colts offensive line, and they are huge. The left tackle, 6'7", Anthony Costanzo, first-round pick last year out of Boston College. Backs and receivers, we talked about Reggie Wayne having another outstanding season with 76 catches. Reggie, a guy who surprised a lot of people by re-signing with the Colts, even with Peyton Manning going elsewhere. The running back is Vic Ballard, getting the start once again, but here's Luck on the rollout. A diving attempt is made. It is incomplete, and a penalty marker is down. Pass intended for Donnie Avery. Referee is Ed Hockley, a familiar name these days.
Ineligible receiver downfield by the offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Well, Rich, the right tackle, Winston Justice, making his way downfield.
Yeah, you just keep an eye on him. He's going to get up on the second level. He's trying to cut off the backside, make it look like run action, but he gets too far down the field. You see him at the end of that. He starts heading upfield as Andrew Luck's outside the pocket. You give the benefit of the doubt that you give you a couple yards around the line of scrimmage, but you start heading downfield 4, 5, 6 yards, you're going to throw that flag every time.
So the ball back at the 10, first and 15 for Indianapolis. Play fake, and the short pass to Wayne, who picks up additional yardage. Stopped by the weak side linebacker Nick Barnett. Buffalo in their 4-3 base defense with Mario Williams back from wrist surgery, playing with a cast on that left wrist. Once again, Bills' leading tackler is the weak side linebacker Nick Barnett. In the secondary, Jarris Byrd coming off a strong game against Miami with an interception and a fumble recovery. Ballard remains as the running back, a 2nd and 11. Just underway here in Indianapolis. Here's Luck off the punt. They had a wide open receiver. Ballard coming out of the backfield with no one else in sight.
Yeah, he had his tight end, Dwayne Allen, wide open, and Kyle Williams comes free up the middle, and he's going to get the shot on Andrew Luck. I think he has to throw it a little bit before he's ready. Can't get his arm and his body through that throw, and he misses his tight end, Dwayne Allen, coming across the field.
So it's a 3rd down and 11.
Let's go. Mike 43.
Luck working out of the gun. He has Ballard to his left. And Luck picks it, is caught for a 1st down. T.Y. Hilton, the outstanding rookie out of Florida International, 3rd-round draft pick, coming up with his 31st catch, and that's good for 18 yards.
Yeah, you just look at this motion. It's picturesque, and that's just great protection up front. Buffalo's just rushing 4 there, and you get a good look at T.Y. Hilton. This kid has really come on the last couple of weeks. We talked about him having a nice day last week, 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns against the Patriots. A lot of speed at the wide receiver position here in Indy.
On 1st down, it's Ballard. Vic Ballard, rookie from Mississippi State, 5th-round draft pick after averaging 6 a carry in college. Started the last 7 games. Colts opened the season by going with Donald Brown, and now we've seen combinations of Brown and Ballard and DeLon Carter.
Yeah, and then they're running the ball better. I think there's more of an emphasis now with Bruce Arians calling the plays with the young quarterback with Brown and Ballard. Neither one has really had great numbers, but it's kind of been running back by committee with the Colts.
2nd down and 7. And a flag.
Ball start, offense, number 33. 5-yard penalty, it's 2nd down.
So it is Ballard on the move, called for that penalty.
Well, they're just so young on offense. You get a look at Ballard. He's a rookie. They've got the rookie quarterback and Luck. You've got 2 rookie tight ends. Kobe Fleener, who's not active today, and of course Dwayne Allen. You got a couple rookies at wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton and Levon Brazil. So, but they don't play like rookies. You know, Marv, when you watch the tape, I mean, you don't see a ton of mistakes, communication issues. And this is a group that has really stepped up and matured in a short time.
Now they're going with 3 wideouts for this 2nd and 12. Inside handoff to Ballard. Lost a yard on the play. Barnett was right there.
Well, you look at the numbers for Andrew Luck at home and away. This is pretty typical for a lot of first-year quarterbacks. I mean, I think the comfort level of playing here at home, a fast track, the crowd not being an issue, of course, and having to go on the road. Look at the interceptions. 10 on the road, just 2 here at home. And look at the big plays, the plays of 25 yards or more, 14 here at this facility. They're a lot better and more explosive on offense at home.
3rd and long for Luck. Able to step up. And he surprised Dwayne Allen, not looking that way.
Well, you got 3rd and long. He's you study Andrew Luck on film. He's not a guy that wants to check it down. He wants to push the ball down the field, and he's reluctant to do that. He's just late coming off to his back. You got to realize in 3rd and long situations, you're going to get coverage, and you got to be smart. Take what you can get at times.
And he was feeling the pressure from Mario Williams. So Pat McAfee with the punt. Leotis McKelvin is back. Starts out from his 15. McKelvin, one of the best kick and punt returners in the NFL. This time is kept in check on a 55-yard punt. 15-yard return. A look at the Buffalo Bills 8-year man out of Harvard. Ryan Fitzpatrick has thrown for 17 touchdowns, picked off 10 times, so the interception rate is down from a year ago.
And that's important. That's really the key with him at all times, just taking care of the football. He has played better, though, the last month.
C.J. Spiller, Corey McIntyre on the running backs. Here's Spiller with the hole. Picks up 3 on the play. A look at the Bills up front. Cordy Glenn, the rookie out of Georgia, has played well. Will have his hands full, though, facing Dwight Freeney. Backs and receivers, Spiller in the starting lineup, although Fred Jackson is available. CJ having a superb year, averaging 6.5 yards per carry. Third-year man out of Clemson. Now Spiller, the lone running back. Fitzpatrick tried to angle it. It was nearly intercepted. It was deflected away from Stevie Johnson. A look at the Colts defensively. Corey Redding playing through a sore hip. Seven-time Pro Bowler Dwight Freeney, a stand-up outside linebacker in that Colt 3-4 alignment. And in the secondary, Cassius Vaughn with his fourth straight start for the injured Vontae Davis. And this crowd has come to life. 3 wideouts for Buffalo. 3rd and 7. Fitzpatrick is taken down. Jarrell Freeman, the inside linebacker, with his 2nd sack of the season.
Well, here's the problem. They've got C.J. Spiller in protection. This is the problem, trying to block the linebacker one-on-one. Spiller, an undersized back, and you look at Jarrell Freeman, he just blows up the back in the hole, and he's right there to get Ryan Fitzpatrick on the ground.
Sean Powell, rookie from Florida State, back to punt from his 12. And the speedy T.Y. Hilton is back. Hilton from the 25. Found an opening. He's to midfield. The corner, Powell is back. Hilton all the way for the touchdown. $75-yard return by the rookie from Florida International, and he has blazing speed.
Well, you just watch this first move right here. It's the long snapper, Sanborn. He just makes him fall down, and just the explosiveness, the quickness of T.Y. Hilton. Once he gets in the clear, no one's going to drag him down.
Adam Vinatieri adds the extra point. 7-0 lead for the Colts. Another look at T.Y. Hilton.
Sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Microsoft Surface. And by Toyota Care, caring for you and your car.
$7-0 lead for the Colts, thanks to the 75-yard punt return for a touchdown by T.Y. Hilton, a rookie from Florida International. And they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Well, the last time the Colts had a punt return for a touchdown, December of 2007, T.J. Rushing returning a Shane Leckler punt, and he goes 90 yards for the touchdown. So entering today, it's been 76 games since the Colts have returned a punt for a touchdown. What is it with the guys with initials? We have T.Y. and we have T.J.
Crazy, isn't it?
C.J. Spiller. R.M. Gannon. No, I made that up.
Some initial success for the Colts.
Oh, very good. Spiller on the backfield and looks to go wide, try to bounce it, could not. And on the cutback, nothing. Robert Mathis, Jarrell Freeman were right there, and it's a loss of about 4.
Well, they didn't tackle well on defense last week, the Colts, and they talked all week about containing C.J. Spiller, not giving him any creases or gaps in that defense and forcing him back up inside. he'll get some negative runs because he's always looking to get on the edge of the defense. Good look at Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator here in Indianapolis.
Now Spiller flanks wide to the near side. Second down and 14 for the Bills. Fitzpatrick. And a short pickup. Stevie Johnson on the reception.
Well, the one thing about Ryan Fitzpatrick is he gets the ball out of his hands very quickly. Doesn't hold it back there. It's going to be hard, I think, for Freeney and Mathis to get to him. They don't give him a lot of sacks, and the big reason why it's an up-tempo style offense where the ball comes out of his hands very quickly.
Bills looking at a third down and 5. Now Spiller flanks to the far side. Once again, an empty backfield. A lot of movement on the line. A flag comes flying. Fitzpatrick's pass is overthrown, intended for Spiller.
We're not afraid to put those running backs, C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson, out wide in a wide receiver position in their empty backfield, in their empty alignments.
Offside, defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Called on Dwight Freeney. And we touched on earlier that Dwight now playing the linebacker position in this 3-4 defense.
Yep, that was a big question whether or not Freeney and Mathis could kind of reinvent themselves as outside linebackers in this 3-4 defense. One of the best defensive end tandems over the past decade in the National Football League.
First down at the 30. Now Fred Jackson is to the near side. Play action. Fitzpatrick throwing sideline, and it is dropped. Pass intended for Doran Dickerson, first-year man out of Pitt.
You look at the Buffalo Bills and how their plan is to attack this Colts defense. A couple different schools of thought when it comes to playing against two dominant pass rushers, Freeney and Mathis. The one is to keep extra bodies in to protect the quarterback, and a more aggressive approach, and probably the one that Chan-Gailey's going to take, is to spread you out, get the receivers out in the route, and get the ball out quickly. I think it's more in line with who they are and how they try to attack you offensively.
Second out and 10 from the 30, and this is a Colt defense that is overall ranked 26th on a screen. And it looked like it bounded off one of the Colts. So it brings up a third and 10.
And Buffalo's a very good screen team. A couple of reasons why. You've got two great backs in C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson. You've got an offensive line that's very athletic, that can get out in front of it. And you look at Chan-Gailey, they've got all kind of screens to the tight end, to wide receivers, as well as to those backs.
Chan-Gailey loves setting up the screen pass. And the Bills have been very successful with the screen.
And again, empty backfield, no backs in there, no one to protect for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
And a timeout call.
That's their first.
Timeout taken by the Bills. 7-0 Colts. Back in a moment. Saturday, a BCS title shot could be in play when Alabama faces Georgia in the SEC Championship. It all begins with CBS College Football Championship Saturday. College football today at 3 Eastern as we look at the BCS standings. How about Notre Dame, number 1 with their win over Southern Cal last night. And that goal line stand will be memorable for fans of the Fighting Irish. The catch made by T.J. Grant has a first down and more getting across midfield. T.J. Graham, a rookie out of North Carolina State, also a track star in college. He went for 24, picking up the extra yardage.
They get in this bunch set and they run that quick screen to the receiver. You see Chandler get out in front of it and Stevie Johnson as well, giving T.J. Graham a really nice catch away from his body. But again, we talked about these quick screens. That's going to be a challenge, I think, for this Indianapolis secondary. You got to get them down around the line of scrimmage. Once they get going, they're tough to get down in the secondary.
Buffalo 1st and 10 at the Indianapolis 46-yard line. Spiller with a stutter step will try to cut to the outside, but he is taken down, picked up 4. Fili Moala, defensive tackle, on the stop. Chan Gailey talking to us yesterday about C.J. Spiller, who's averaged 6.5 yards a carry. And Chan says C.J. is most improved in terms of his patience. He'll let the blocking show, and then he can attack you with his speed, and that's what we've seen this season.
Yeah, and he's a smaller back, and he gets lost behind that big line in front of him. It makes it very difficult for linebackers to track him in the hole.
2nd and 6. Spiller once again able to bounce it. Shows the speed, and then he's taken out of bounds. Antoine Bethea, the free safety, catching up to Spiller, but it's a 23-yard gain by Spiller.
Well, he has what I would call rare and unusual speed, and they start it down here, and then he wants to bounce it to the edge. And this is what he really likes to do, because he's got, again, that quickness to get on the edge of a defense. And as Minuski told us, the defensive coordinator in Indianapolis, you can't underestimate his speed, but maybe even more importantly, you can't overestimate your own speed when you play against a back like C.J. Spiller.
First down at the Colts 20-yard line, and again, it is Spiller trying to spin away, a little pushing and shoving between various Colts and Bills. Devell Connor making the stop on Spiller. Well, you have a sports fan on your gift list. Avoid the crowds with CBSSports.com shop. Save big on all officially licensed clearance gear with an additional 20% off now at shop.cbssports.com. Bills to the line, showing 3 wideouts. Once again, Fred Jackson lines up as a wide receiver at the top of your screen. And the pass for T.J. Graham, nothing there. Covered well by the left corner, Cassius Vaughn, who is playing for the injured Vontae Davis, who's out with a knee problem.
They went back to kind of a similar play, again, a quick screen, and Cassius Vaughn wasn't going to fall for it a second time. A lot more difficult to throw that when it's pressed man-to-man coverage. You love to throw that versus off coverage.
3rd and 11, 10th play of this drive that started back on their own 20-yard line. Deep drop by Fitzpatrick. On the run, he sidearms with coverage by the Colts, and the ball come loose. It was caught by Stevie Johnson. It looked like he bobbled it. Hartley looking to sort it out.
The runner's forward progress had stopped, and he was blown dead. It's 4th down.
So no fumble because of the forward progress being stopped.
Well, you see right here that he's getting pushed backwards now, and everybody's just trying to get that ball out. I think even his knee was down, even though his forward progress was already halted. You can't review that, obviously. You get a look at Bruce Arians. That one can't be reviewed if they call forward progress.
So here is Ryan Lindell, who is 13 of 14 on the season, attempting a 33-yard field goal. The one miss from 37. He's hit on his last 8 attempts. Make it 9 in a row. Just under 4.5 remaining in this first quarter.
Is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Marv Albert, Rich Gannon from Indianapolis. Hope you folks enjoying this Thanksgiving weekend. Rich, I know you did, but I found it a bit odd that you brought leftovers with you from home. And, you know, the stuffing just does not travel that well.
Nor the cranberry sauce.
Well, that's another story.
Had a problem with the TSA agent. He didn't quite understand that.
They rejected you?
Yeah, they didn't like my cranberry sauce.
Mr. Gannon, would you step aside for a moment? All right, here's Ryan Lindell with the kick. Joe LaFave. dives to the 20-yard line. Returns for 18, so Andrew Luck and the Colts offense will make their return. Colts have a 7-3 lead on the Bills as they start out from their 20-yard line. Vic Ballard is the running back. Handoff to Ballard. Stopped by Kyle Williams. A reminder, tomorrow when two broke girls get a business opportunity, they'll do anything to make it happen. Catch a new episode tomorrow, only CBS. Vic Ballard, the short yardage and goal line specialist for the start of the season, but now in the starting lineup, moving by Donald Brown, and that time able to move by some tacklers. Vic Ballard with a burst for 11, stopped by Brian Scott. Right here, set for an update. JB and Shannon Sharp.
Shannon, you had some encouraging words for Cincy.
Yes, trying to keep their playoffs hopes alive, JB. You remember how you said, I'm better than you with one hand behind my back. Mohamed Sanu, touchdown, extra point pending, 13-0.
Marv and Rich.
600.
All right, guys, that 11-yard pickup by Ballard for a first down. Screen pass to Reggie Wayne, who was run out of bounds by Brian Scott. Reggie Wayne, 34 years old, in his 12th NFL season. Third in receptions with 78 on the year. Picked up 8, second down and 2. So the Colts with the no huddle, and here's Ballard slashing his way for a first down.
You'll see him jumping it again. You know, you talk about volume and the no huddle, and talking to Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator, he said it's not been a problem at all with the quarterback. In fact, he said we don't worry about him so much. We worry about the other young players that are out there with him, whether or not they can handle it. But Andrew Luck, he said he has it all. He has all the volume that we have in this offense. It's not been a problem for him to pick up all the verbiage and terminology.
Watch 50.
Yeah, the handoff to Ballard. He gets to the edge at midfield, close to the marker. Picked up 9, stopped by Stephon Gilmore, the rookie cornerback out of South Carolina. Well, for both the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts coming in today, you talk to players from both teams, and they say this is like a playoff game when you're vying for a wild card spot. Now, certainly a much tougher situation for the Bills. Indianapolis at 6-4, and the Bills coming in at 4-6 again. It's Ballard, and he bangs ahead for the first down. Kelvin Shepard making the tackle.
Well, Buffalo's going to make a postseason run. They've got to play better run defense. I mean, it's been a problem all season for them. You look at where they're at right now, the 31st, or get up over 150 yards a game on the ground, and it's tough to win when you can't stop the run. The other thing it does, it makes it difficult to get up the field on third down. The third down defense hasn't been very good. That's something that Wannstedt talked about. He said, in order for us to win, we've got to dominate up front with our front four, and they just haven't done that throughout the course of the season.
Luck with a deep drop and then throws downfield, and it was nearly intercepted. The pass intended for Donnie Avery, and Jairus Byrd, who has 4 picks on the season, had a shot at that one.
Well, they love to throw the ball down the field, and you can see Jairus Byrd can cover a lot of ground. And they kind of double, and Avery as he works across the field. And you got Rodgers underneath, and of course Jairus Byrd, who made a big-time interception last Thursday night against the Miami Dolphins.
He had a terrific game. The 2 takeaways, interception, and a fumble recovery by Byrd. And Ballard, the wideout, once again empty backfield, and the quick pass was deflected once again. Luck had it batted this time by Mario Williams.
And he is a guy that's played better. You know, fair or unfair, he's going to be judged on the sack numbers. He has just 5.5. But despite that, I think the coaching staff feels like he's had an impact, particularly against the run and in plays like this. And he's not blocked. He recognizes it's another quick screen out to the wide receiver. Does a nice job getting his hands on that ball and deflecting it away.
Mario Williams back from a torn pectoral muscle, which ended his season with Houston last October, and playing with the wrist injury. Here's Luck able to step up and cannot get the throw off. Started a pump, and it's Mario Williams with the sack.
Well, you see he's going to work for this one. He just comes around the edge. He's working on the right tackle. Winston Justice, he beats him back across his face, and Andrew Luck has nowhere to go with the ball. A lot of these throws are down the field throws that take a while to develop, so that's going to give guys like Mario Williams a little bit extra time to get to the quarterback.
6.5 sacks for the season for Williams. Pat McAfee will punt, and Leotis McKelvin, the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week, leads the NFL in punt returns. But this one a beauty, and it's down at the 1. 49-yarder, and Sergio Brown was able to stop it from heading into the end zone.
Well, really nice play here by Sergio Brown. He's going to run past Leotis McKelvin. He knows that McKelvin's not going to field this ball, so he's not at all fooled by the punt returner. Just a really nice job knowing where you're at on the field.
So the Buffalo Bills will take over just inside the 1-yard line. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Rich Gannon, Phil Simms, Steve Berline will be sharing their thoughts. Buffalo now with Fred Jackson at running back. Quarterback sneak, Ryan Fitzpatrick trying to get out of trouble. Picked up 2 as this first quarter comes to a close. So that is the end of the first with the score. The Colts 7, the Bills 3. Will return to Indianapolis after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. On to the second quarter at Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis. Capacity crowd better than 63,000. 85th consecutive sellout. And the Bills deep into own territory. Second down and 8. Fred Jackson remains as the running back. Dangerous pass thrown by Fitzpatrick, caught by Donald Jones to get the Bills out of trouble. That's a 9-yard pickup.
Boy, the ball comes out of his hands so quick. This is nothing more than a kind of a perimeter run for him. But watch how quickly he gets this thing out after the fake. I mean, it's just a dart. Whoa. And Freeney's unblocked. And Stevie, that's just if you just want to get the ball in the hands of Stevie. Let him go to work.
Bills do pick up a first down. Jones again wide to the left. Jackson is the running back. Play fake. And then Fitzpatrick throws deep down the left side through the hands of Donald Jones, who had the step or 2.
Well, this is not exactly an easy throw for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's got to step up and have a sense of urgency in the pocket. But look at this move right here by Donald Jones. I mean, he just goes right by Cassius Vaughn. But, boy, you got to hit him when you've got him open.
Yeah, that would have been a tough catch. High and wide. Cassius Vaughn beaten by the speed of Jones.
I think Buffalo has to take shots, go after this secondary. This is a secondary. It's banged up right now. You got some young players out there on the corners.
Second down and 10. Nice play fake. Fitzpatrick could not find anyone and just tosses it away. This is a Bills franchise that has not made it to the playoffs since back in 1999, the longest current playoff drought. That's 12 straight years. They've had only one winning season since back in '99.
Well, they've had problems with the quarterback going back to 1999. Too many changes there from head coaching changes. I think really you look at it, particularly in the last 6 years, they haven't made the playoffs because they haven't finished down the stretch. Last year's a great example of that. They race off to a great start the first 6-7 games, and then they crumble in the second half of the season.
Last year they started out at 5-2. This is Jackson, able to get across the 15, picked up 4. Ricardo Matthews, the defensive end on the left side, makes the stop. So they started 5-2 a year ago. They lose 8 of their last 9 as they were hard hit by key injuries, and they end up at 6-10.
Yeah, the injuries were big last year along the offensive line. Fred Jackson goes out. But, you look at them this year, they've been fairly healthy and yet not consistent enough. They just kind of been up and down, and big stories of turnovers. When they take care of the football, they usually put themselves in a position to have a chance to win.
Let's see what T.Y. Hilton can do here. To the 40. And then tripped up and looked like he lost the ball as he crossed the 45. Beautiful part of 55-yarder. But there's a flag down.
Well, he got hit right in the head, I think, by Nigel Bradham, the rookie linebacker for Buffalo. It's kind of an ugly one. Just as he was going down to the ground.
Crowd reacts as they see the play on the big screen above. Apparently no flag thrown.
The ruling on the field is that the runner fumbled the ball. The ball was recovered by Buffalo. Buffalo's ball, first down.
So the Bills do recover. But the concern is T.Y. Hilton.
Just watch.
But the concern is T.Y. Hilton.
Just watch as he comes down. He gets hit right in the back of the head.
All turnovers are reviewed by the replay crew upstairs, and that is what they are doing right here as T.Y. Hilton took a hard shot to the helmet.
Yeah, he really did, and I think they're going to call this one down. If you watch it, just watch his backside. His backside's actually on the ground, and that ball is still in his possession. Now you see it come out. I think the Colts are going to get a break there and get this ball back. But nonetheless, a huge, huge hit.
And it was Nigel Bradham involved in that collision.
It's one of those deals where you're kind of getting twisted, you're getting spun around, you're running full speed, you can't protect yourself as you're going down, and somebody comes in and hits you in the back of the head.
Corey McIntyre did recover from Buffalo, but the question is, was it ruled a fumble?
Well, we looked at it from a number of different angles. And this one, you can't quite tell. You can see that he's down right there, but you can't really tell whether or not the ball's coming out. Then it comes out. I think the other angle really had a good shot of it where he was actually on the ground before the ball came out.
And we will get the word now from Ed Hockley.
The runner's buttocks was down on the ground before the ball came loose. Therefore, it's Indianapolis ball on the 47-yard line. The clock should be reset to 13:22.
Well expressed
13:22 on the clock.
by Ed.
I was saying I think you get a good look at it here. He gets spun around, and then right there, as Ed said so wonderfully, his buttocks was down on the field. I was saying his rear end.
Yeah. And T.Y. Hilton is being taken back to the locker room. T.Y., who had that 75-yard punt return for a touchdown early in the first quarter. So the Colts maintain possession. First and 10 at the 47-yard line. Donald Brown is now the running back. With Wayne in motion. One flushed out, but was able to complete. It is incomplete. Reggie Wayne not able to hang on, covered by Stephon Gilmore.
Well, this is a good matchup to watch. The rookie Stephon Gilmore, he's going to be on Reggie Wayne most of the day. And he's going to have to work real hard against the veteran route runner like Reggie Wayne. And it's a drop by Reggie. He's got to make this catch. Good job by Gilmore getting that hand in there and ripping it out.
Kyle Moore providing the pressure on Andrew Luck. Short set by Luck. And it is deflected and picked off. Justin Rogers comes up with his first interception of the season. Reggie Wayne, the intended receiver.
Well, a little bit of confusion there. You think Reggie Wayne's running a little option route. Looked like he might sit it down. He comes out of the break, and Andrew Luck throws it on his back shoulder. You see Luck here. I don't know if he thinks he's sitting or he just misses this throw behind Reggie Wayne, and Reggie Wayne just trying to get a hold of it, and Rogers right there for the easy interception.
Justin Rogers, second-year man out of Richmond, a 7th-round draft pick last season. You see the reaction by Andrew Luck coming off the long day against the Patriots last week, intercepted 3 times. So Buffalo back to the offense. Spiller, the ball carrier. Spiller finds running room as he put the speed on and has a first down.
Well, you really got to defend against a cutback with a guy like C.J. Spiller. He's usually going to make the first guy miss. He does such a great job in the hole. You just can't overrun this on the backside. And you see those Indy linebackers, you've got to be able to work and be patient on the backside, just as he's patient in the hole. You've got to be patient with a back like C.J. Spiller.
Gain of 11 for Spiller. Sangalli able to use both Spiller and Jackson. Jackson, for the most part, has been split out as a wideout. Again, it's Spiller to the edge, makes the cut, has another first down. Jarrell Freeman running about. C.J. Spiller, remember opening day at the Jets, a game that we telecast, he ran for 169 yards, a career best on 14 carries.
Yeah, look at this hole right here. I mean, it's just too easy for a back like that. I mean, just do a good job sealing it and getting him out there in space. And he's averaging 6.6 a carry, which is tops right now in the National Football League.
Picks up another 13. Another first down for Buffalo. Once again, it is Spiller. Picked up 3. C.J., first-round pick out of Clemson. And you mentioned the 6.6. When you look at highest rush average through teams' first 10 games, some pretty good names. Mercury Morris, Jim Brown, C.J., and Adrian Peterson.
I'd say that's very good company, huh?
Like the black and white vintage photo of Mercury Mars. 2nd and 7 for the Bills. Going to the hot hand, and then this time it's Fred Jackson. Cut by Jarrell Freeman. It's a loss of 3. Sets it back to a 3rd and 10. You can get coverage of every game while on the go this holiday weekend with NFL Mobile. Watch every touchdown from Sunday afternoon games with NFL Red Zone for $5 a month. Call ** NFL to download. 3rd down and 10 from the 30. Empty backfield for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's in trouble. Down he goes at the 35. Robert Mathis picks up his 7th sack of the season.
Well, you get a good look at Mathis. He's just going to work the right tackle here, Chris Harrison. I mean, just the speed kills. And that's why you've got a chip. That's why you have to help these tackles out. Because Freeney and Mathis are just too quick off the edge. they're at field goal range. Now they got to settle for a punt.
Tom Zibikowski awaits the punt from Sean Powell. And a fair catch called for at the 11. Back in a moment with the Colts leading the Bills 7-3.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. Samsung Galaxy Note 2. The next big thing is here. And by the all-new 2013 Ford Escape. It's what happens when you go further.
Now look at the Indianapolis Colts Ring of Honor. Tony Dungy, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James from the 2006 Super Bowl champs. So the Colts taking over. Donald Brown in the backfield. And here's Brown. Jairus Byrd on the stop. 3-yard pickup. An update on T.Y. Hilton, who was taken back to the locker room. You see T.Y. on that 75-yard punt return back in the first quarter. And that's been the difference to this point. Suffered a head injury, and a quad contusion.
Hey, Mike 50.
Off that punt return a couple of minutes back, in which he took a shot helmet to helmet from Nigel Bradham. Swing pass to Avery. Gilmore makes the tackle. That's a 4-yard gain.
Boy, both these teams love these quick screens. We see a lot of them in college, these bubble screens, and moving the receivers around so they can get into position to block, and they all take part, whether it's Avery or Reggie Wayne, or we saw T.Y. Hilton a little bit there, and Bruce Arians loves it. Just wants to find another way to get the ball in the perimeter to these quick, undersized receivers.
Colts have a 3rd down and 3 from their 18. Luck could not find anyone and then runs for a first down. Kyle Moore makes the stop. Andrew Luck, one of the more effective running quarterbacks, picks up 8.
Yeah, he seems to make a couple first downs each week with his legs. He's already rushed for 5 touchdowns this season. He's big and strong, and he's very athletic. And I think he's finding out, how fast you got to be and how you got to be able to protect yourself at this level. He told us on Friday that he didn't feel many of those hits in college, but at this level you feel every hit on Sundays.
Well, he has drawn 10 personal foul penalties. And counting. Nice play fake and the completion to Brown. Donald Brown for the first down, and now is pushed out of bounds. Pushed out by Danaris Searcy, and that's good for 23.
You're going to see some fancy footwork from Donald Brown here on the sidelines, and this is an area where I think Andrew Luck can really help himself. They don't throw to the running backs much at all, just 17 catches between Brown and Ballard. That can really help them. And they send all these receivers these deep routes, and if it's not there, those running backs, those checkdowns can be big plays.
45 completions of 20 or more yards this season. First down at midfield, play fake again. Here's Luck. Dwayne Allen has a first down. Jairus Byrd with the tackle, and that's good for 24. Dwayne Allen, the rookie from Clemson, a 3rd-round pick, who lines up at both fullback and tight end, and he's been very effective.
Well, just keep an eye on Allen. He's going to start him over, getting freeze it. He starts him over this way, then he works all the way back, and he loses Jairus Byrd. It's just a really nice route there, good patient route by Dwayne Allen. And we talked to Bruce Arians on Friday. He said, hey, he had a bad 40 time coming out in the draft, or he would have been a first rounder.
Colts 1st and 10 from the Buffalo 27-yard line. Brown remains in the backfield. Luck over the middle, incomplete. Intended for the tight end Wesley Saunders. starting at tight end with Kobe Fleener, the usual starter, out with an injured shoulder. He's been out the last 3 weeks.
And when we talked to Dave Wannstedt last night, the defensive coordinator, one of the things he said is at times he just can't take his eyes off the receivers downfield. Look how wide open Reggie Wayne is. I mean, Reggie Wayne's going to run for a long ways there. But sometimes he gets his eyes fixed downfield, and he doesn't feel that underneath receiver who could pick up 15 or 20 yards of open space.
The numbers on Luck, 6 for 13 for 80 yards. Brown. Donald Brown lost a yard on the play.
Sometimes as a young quarterback, you call a play that's designed to be thrown downfield. You've got outlet receivers underneath receivers, but you get greedy. You can't help yourself. You've got such a strong arm, and you've been such an accurate passer. You feel you can fit one in there in tight spaces. But we always talk about it. I said every week, you can't go broke. You never go broke taking a profit. Checking the ball underneath can be the way to go, particularly to a veteran receiver like Reggie Wayne.
Crowd reacts with T.Y. Hilton checking back in. Here is Luck with time. Couldn't find anyone. Luck again on the run and has a first down and more. And here's it from this crowd.
And this was the one thing that really concerned Dave Wannstedt last night, the Bills defensive coordinator. He said, if we play a lot of man-to-man coverage, we're susceptible to Andrew Luck running the football. You see all the man-to-man coverage down the field? They've got nobody to account for Andrew Luck. Everybody's got their back turned to the line of scrimmage. And he's a smart enough quarterback to realize that versus man-to-man coverage, there are going to be some big running lanes against that Buffalo defense.
A gain of 14 for Luck. Brown able to bounce out, and it's taken out at the 10-yard line. Nigel Bradham, strong side linebacker, making his 6th straight start, makes the tackle.
Yeah, you just see Donald Brown. He's got some speed now. You look at how they've used both these backs. Donald Brown, Vic Ballard, DeLon Carter has gotten some work. So I think Bruce Arians, a lot like Chan Gailey, he likes to go with the hot hand.
2nd and 6 at the 10 as Brown remains as the lone deep back. Here's Brown off the left side. Tripped up by Leotis McKelvin, so Brown picks up 3.
It's amazing how crystal clear Andrew Luck sounds at the line of scrimmage. Of course, National Football League requires offensive linemen, a center or guard to be mic'd. And so this crowd here in Indianapolis, going back to the days that Peyton was here, they have been trained that when this offense is on the field, let's be quiet. I mean, you can hear a pin drop in here. And yet when they're on defense, it gets very loud.
Andrew Luck does have a booming voice.
He does, and it cuts through real clear. But I mean, you can literally hear every call he is making at the line of scrimmage.
Timeout taken by the Colts with 4:18 left first half. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
You get a look at the Buffalo red zone defense. It's an area where they've really struggled. They've not been able to hold many teams to field goals in this part of the field.
3rd and 3 at the Buffalo 7. Luck with time, now being chased, and it is incomplete. Pass intended to Vic Ballard.
Boy, a better throw here by Andrew Luck might get this one done. That might have even gotten tipped. That would have been a very difficult catch for Vic Ballard, low and away from his body.
So here comes Adam Vinatieri for the first time, attempting a 25-yarder. Vinatieri just 19 for 26 this season. He's had a number of long attempts. Puts this one through. So the Colts extend to a 10-3 lead over the Bills. And Vic Ballard upset that he was not able to hang on.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by E-Trade. Works beautifully. And by Applebee's. Enjoy everyday specials this season and the new Spirited Cuisine menu. See you tomorrow.
Colts had it for 6 minutes, 2 seconds, 12 plays, 82 yards, leading to the 25-yard field goal by Adam Vinatieri. And now Pat McAfee will kick it away. The dangerous Leotis McKelvin is back with Brad Smith. And McKelvin not able to hang on to the end zone. He was ready to run it out.
It's amazing these guys, 8, 9, 10 yards deep, they try and bring it out.
So it'll come out to the 20-yard line. Down to 4:08 left in this first half. And Ryan Fitzpatrick 1st and 10 from the 20s. We check out scores around the NFL. How about the Bengals after going through that drop-off? Big lead today. Cleveland in front of the Steelers, being quarterbacked by Charlie Batch this afternoon. Fred Jackson is the running back. Fitzpatrick throwing deep down the right side. Here's Jackson. I should say Steve Johnson. Stevie Johnson puts moves on at the 20 and is hauled down.
Well, Darius Butler got greedy here. He tries to jump a little stop route on the sidelines. I mean, he read it all the way, and it turns out to be a double move. I mean, just watch. His eyes are in the back. Watch him drive. And now Stevie goes right by him, and all Darius Butler can do is try and catch up. Really nice route there by Stevie Johnson.
Goes for 63 on the reception.
And great receivers are a lot like artists. They never really paint the same picture twice. You see him, he's a very unorthodox route runner. Very patient and knows how to work a corner.
First down at the Indianapolis 17. Here's Fitzpatrick throwing a bullet in the direction of Stevie Johnson, who was covered by Josh Gordy.
Looked like there was some confusion there between Stevie Johnson and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Kind of a throwaway. You hate to waste plays in this part of the field. You look at a Buffalo offense that struggled a little bit in the red zone. This is an area they need to be better. Just 9 of their 26 possessions have resulted in touchdowns in this part of the field.
That 63-yard pass play, longest catch of the season for Stevie Johnson. Second down and 10. And Fitzpatrick's pass. Stevie Johnson.
Well, Darius Butler not happy with that double move. He wanted to tell him about it. A little bit better coverage there.
So it'll be a 3rd and 10. Johnson not able to hang on. See Fitzpatrick 6 of 13, 111 yards, and Luck at 6 of 14 and picked off once. And the crowd getting into it. Try to make things more difficult for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He has Fred Jackson to his left. Fitzpatrick running out of the pocket and slides inside the 15.
Well, the Colts have done a nice job on defense of changing up the looks for Ryan Fitzpatrick. They've rushed 4, they've rushed 5. And in that case, they rushed 3 and dropped 8 in coverage. He has nowhere to go with the ball.
So here comes the field goal unit. Ryan Lindell earlier hit from 33, 14 of 15 on the season. He's hit his last 9. This a 31-yard attempt. The punter Sean Powell will hold. Garrison Sanborn will snap it. So Lindell able to connect. 2:16 left in this first half. Just set it up. The 63-yard pass play. Stevie Johnson able to haul it in. Joe Lefege, the second-year man from Rutgers, on the kick return. And takes a hard hit just short of the 15-yard line. Flag is thrown. Mount Silva makes the stop.
During the return, holding by the receiving team, number 27. It's a 10-yard penalty that will be enforced from where the run end. First down.
Called on Josh Gordy. Well, this Colts cheerleader, Rich, has come up with a unique way to raise money for cancer research in honor of Colts head coach Chuck Pagano. And we'll have more of that later on. That's Megan M.
A brave young lady.
And we'll tell you why. Colts have a 10-6 lead on the Bills as we come up on 2 minutes of play in this first half as Ballard is stacked up. Marcel Darius able to hold him, so no gain on the play, and 2 minutes remain. First half. Back in a moment. Back in Indianapolis, 2 minutes remaining in this first half. The Colts starting out from their 8-yard line. Luck able to hit Allen. Just a yard on that pickup as Marcel Darius is right there.
And a little shovel pass back inside to the tight end, Dwayne Allen.
And a timeout is taken by the Bills.
You look at him, he's going to flick it right back inside. Good job by Marcel Darius coming off.
Rich, last week, Andrew Luck, 27 of 50, 334 yards against the Patriots. Were they icing down Andrew's arm after the game?
It's a lot of throws. He's a young buck, though, Marv. He can throw it a bunch. Doesn't really start bothering you, I think, until after about year 6 or 7.
Really?
You see how strong he is, though. I mean, he's impressive.
Can you recall the most passes you ever threw?
I think it was north of, I think it was 61 maybe, or 62. 63 maybe.
Had to be a loss.
Did you rub it in or what?
No, there's Reggie Wayne making the catch for a first down. Stopped by Justin Rogers. No, usually if you throw that frequently.
Right. I think we did lose. Well, you look at Reggie Wayne, 59 straight games with 3 or more receptions. It's the most all time. And you know, what I like about what they're doing now with Reggie Wayne, you remember in years past, he'd always be stationary. He'd always be on the left side. Now they're moving him around. I think it's making it more and more difficult for receivers, and it's helping Reggie Wayne. It's helping him to get off press man-to-man coverage. You see him on the right side as well. So he's not always on the left like he was in Tom Moore and Clyde Christensen's offense the first 12 years.
First down from the 20. The pass to Avery is caught. They spot it at the 37. That's a 17-yard gain.
Hey, you want to make 50? That's 50-50, middle.
Look to the right flat. This time for Allen right at the marker. And that's good for 10. Consecutive games with 3 or more receptions all time. So Reggie Wayne moving in front of Chris Carter. Terry Holt in the number 3 spot.
Yeah, he's been so consistent. I mean, already over 1,000 receiving yards in the season for the 8th time in his career. And now he's become a mentor for the younger players, especially at wide receiver. Guys like T.Y. Hilton and Levon Brazil. He's kind of taken them under their wing. Taught them how to prepare, taught them how to work and practice.
Running out of trouble and throws on the run.
That's a good decision. 2-minute drill incompletions won't hurt you on first down.
Down to a minute 16 remaining as Adam Vinatieri would have to get to about, the 40 or 39. His career long is 57, but that was back in 2002 as a member of the Patriots. Long this year, 53.
You mentioned some misses from Vinatieri earlier this season. But I'll tell you, Marv, there's not a guy I'd rather have in a critical situation to kick a game winner than Adam Vinatieri.
2nd and 10 at the 47. Here is Luck throwing the deep ball. Double coverage on Donnie Avery.
A little bit of confusion there. Looked like Donnie Avery was in the same vicinity as T.Y. Hilton. You're going to see these guys working downfield. Avery's down the bottom of your screen. Look at the top of your screen and freeze it right there. I mean, you got two guys in the same position. You need spacing, particularly on throws down the middle of the field. Makes it too easy for that backside safety to come off and make a play on the throw to Avery.
That Mike 43.
3rd and 10 for Andrew Luck from the Colts 47. Once again, 4 wideouts. And Luck's pass incomplete, intended again for Avery.
Now, this always bothered me, these receivers. You got to give the quarterback some room on the boundary. Look at Avery. He's going to get pushed to the sideline. Not a lot of room there. It makes that throw a little bit more difficult for Andrew Luck.
3rd punt coming up now for Pat McAfee and Leotis McKelvin, averaging 22 yards per punt return, which leads the NFL back at the 10. This one angle, and McKelvin had a call for the fair catch. It's a 46-yard punt, a good one, preventing the return. 58 seconds left in the half. The Colts 10, the Bills 6. Held what they call horseshoe helpings in conjunction with the NFL Play 60 campaign. Colts players and cheerleaders distributed over 43,000 pounds of food, feeding meals to 2,000 families in need. NFL Play 60 is a campaign that is focused on increasing the health of young fans by encouraging them to be active for at least 60 minutes a day.
Yeah, it's great to see the players out there. A lot of them brought their girlfriends or wives along, so always good to see these players give back to the community. We had a chance to talk to Chan Gailey last night, asked him what he did on Thanksgiving. He and his wife had a chance to go down to the local Ronald McDonald House and help out down there. So a lot of good things happen across the National Football League.
When Chan first said he was at Ronald McDonald, I'm thinking that's where he had his Thanksgiving meal, but he was doing nice things.
He was doing service work.
Right. And, some people have different tastes. There's nothing wrong with.
He's going for a big night for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. 1st and 10 for the Bills. Fitzpatrick. Looks like his arm was hit. Robert Mathis putting the pressure on.
You're going to see right at the end here, boy, Mathis, he's causing some problems right now for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's having to step up every time in the pocket. When he steps up back inside, there's push in his face. Mathis and Freeney are a real terror off the edge. You can't let these guys create issues and create havoc for your quarterback all day.
Down to 53 seconds to play in the half. Fitzpatrick again feeling the pressure. Pass intended for Stevie Johnson. Brings up a 3rd and 10. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Buffalo Bills with a record of 4-6. They have dropped 3 of the last 4. They had lost 3 straight. Then last week in a Thursday night game beat the Dolphins. That stopped the losing streak. Inside handoff to Jackson. Trying to get to the outside, and down he goes.
Well, I circled that bunch set up top. I thought it was either going to be a quick screen or maybe a handoff for the back. Make the Colts use one of those 2 remaining timeouts.
So the Colts do take the timeout as the punting unit comes on for the Bills. And we'd like to say thanks to you, our generous viewers. The American Red Cross has been helping thousands affected by Hurricane Sandy get back on their feet. And on this Thanksgiving weekend, we want to thank all of you for making a real difference. You can learn more at redcross.org. CBS Cares. T.Y. Hilton, who had an adventurous first half, the 75-yard punt return for a touchdown, and then took a shot in a later punt return, went back to the locker room, took a helmet-to-helmet hit, and he's back in action.
Here's another chance here.
Here comes T.Y. breaking tackles and then taken down. Trying to reach out to midfield. A 50-yard punt, an 11-yard return, and it's Nigel Bradham, the man who went helmet-to-helmet with T.Y. when he was shaken up.
Now you look at the Colts right now, they've got 32 seconds and a timeout left. I mean, they get about 15 yards here. They're going to be in Adam Vinatieri's range.
Levon Brazil is flanked wide to the right side of the top of your screen. They go 4 wideouts. Luck fires deep downfield, intended for Reggie Wayne, and a flag comes flying. Into the interference on Buffalo.
Well, Justin Rogers, he just, there's no reason for this. He just panics. I mean, he's got really good coverage on Reggie Wayne up the seam.
Pass interference, defense, number 26. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Yeah, right there, he's in good position now, and he just, I think you don't see that right hand, but he grabs Reggie Wayne.
That's a big penalty, 23-yard penalty called on the Bills with 28 seconds to play in this first half. He's certainly in field goal range. Luck's pass is caught by Wayne. He's to the 10, 5. Trying to work his way toward the goal line, but was stacked up.
Timeout, timeout. This clock's running down. Bruce Arians is trying to get a timeout. They wasted some time there.
Now the clock stopped with 11 seconds to go. That's a 26-yard gain.
Boy, what a nice catch first by Reggie Wayne, and then watch him finish here. I mean, he's trying to get this thing into the end zone. He's just going to lower his head and shoulders and try and run over Jairus Byrd.
So what do the Colts do here? Take one shot at it? And
I think they've got a chance to take 2 shots at it. It was 16 seconds, and they're going to put a couple seconds back on the clock. I think they got a chance to take 2 shots to the end zone.
Yeah, I didn't see they put the additional 5 back on, so certainly have the time now with the 16 seconds, and a timeout is called once again.
Well, they ripped that ball out because he was going to the ground or on the ground. But I'm sure, again, they might call forward progress. Really good example of wrapping up there. Now once you've got help from your buddies, you try and rip that ball out. It's all about ball extraction.
So the Colts use their final timeout. They have a 1st and goal at the 3 and 16 seconds remaining. First half. Empty backfield for Luck. Luck throws, and it is off the hands of Dwayne Allen.
Pretty good protection here. You can look at Andrew Luck. He starts outside, and he tries to work back inside to his tight end, Dwayne Allen. He's got that high release point.
Allen covered by Brian Scott, who was able to unleash a pretty good hit. Now down to 12 seconds, 2nd and goal. Luck looks to the other side. Reggie Wayne is stopped
Well, they got
just
no
short.
timeouts now. They're in trouble. They're not going to get this.
Well, they line up in a hurry on the spike, but
Gave them 1 second. They got 1 second. Boy, they were very fortunate there. It's a great job by the rookie quarterback, Andrew Luck, understanding the situation. A ball completed in the playing field, He knows the situation, does a great job getting the offensive line up on the ball, getting it spotted, and getting it killed. Really nice job. Look at how everybody's hustling. Look at Andrew Luck. He's getting the guys on the line of scrimmage, making sure they're in a legal formation before he spikes that ball.
And the Bills were headed off the field. They saw the 0-0, but 1 second back on the clock, as you mentioned. Here's a 19-yard attempt by Vinatieri, and he puts it through.
That was really well done by Andrew Luck. I mean, that was impressive. Just that whole orchestration there right before the half, how he kept his poise and got that team lined up.
So the Colts take a 13-6 lead at halftime over the Bills. We'll be back with a Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47.
It's a 60-minute dogfight. 1, 2, 3. Hold on.
Hilton from the 25, found an opening, all the way to the touchdown. Back in Indianapolis, Marv Albert with Rich Gannon. The Colts with a 13-6 lead over the Bills. And Rich, we were expecting for a little more offense, certainly an explosion in the first half. That has not been the case.
No, teams have stalled down in the red zone. I mean, both of them rolled for 2 down that part of the field. And you look at Buffalo's problems, they're just 1 of 7 on third down, so they're not be able to convert third downs, get those chains moving, and give Ryan Fitzpatrick some extra opportunities.
And one touchdown in the first half, the result of the 75-yard punt return by this man, T.Y. Hilton, as he goes the distance.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. And he get a big hit in a later one, and he found a way to come back in and make some plays in the third quarter. Well, Andrew Luck, again, Marv, just to pay off what we talked about right before halftime, just his ability to get that team lined up, very impressive.
All right, follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Buffalo Bills will receive to open up this second half. And the Colts, who have had their struggles in terms of kickoff and punt return coverage, done the job to this point. It'll be a combination of Leotis McKelvin and Brad Smith. There is Smith, and usually the Bills like to see the ball in the hands of McKelvin, who's averaging 28 yards per kickoff return. Colts go with the punter, Pat McAfee, who has the stronger leg on kickoffs. This is a line drive. And it's one hop by Smith. Puts the speed on. Brad Smith accelerates across the 30-yard line. It's a 32-yard return. Look at the numbers in the first half.
Look at the return yards for Indy. That was huge. Of course, T.Y. Hilton, big 75-yard return, the 1 turnover, the interception from Andrew Luck. Again, you look at Buffalo, they've got to get C.J. Spiller cranked back up. He had 8 carries for 51 yards in the first half. He's averaging, as usual, over 6 yards a carry. So a little bit more of Fred Jackson later in the second quarter.
Spiller in there right now as they start out from the 32-yard line. Fitzpatrick backpedaling on the screen. This is Spiller. They just want to get him in space, but not much there. Jarrell Freeman able to make the stop, and a penalty marker is down.
Before the pass was thrown, holding by the defense, number 99. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
Called on the nose tackle, Antonio Johnson.
Well, they're so worried about the screen game that he's just going to grab a hold of the running back, C.J. Spiller. You just see him right there. He's going to grab him and not let him get involved in the screen game. And they're so concerned with both of these backs, C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson, in the screen game, that they're trying to grab him at or around the line of scrimmage.
First down at the 37, Spiller. And he is stacked up. Corey Redding leading the way to make that tackle.
Well, this isn't necessarily pretty. They put together the one long drive of 11 plays, and they had to settle for a field goal, a bunch of punts, and third down's been a real problem. Just 1 of 7. And one of the other issues is that they've been behind a little bit in the down and distance. Not been as good on first down.
Bills have a 2nd and 10 from the 37. Fitzpatrick fires one that comes up short. Intended for T.J. Graham, rookie from North Carolina State.
Well, you watch him here. He's late. He's late with his eyes, and this is a guy that can't be late with his the throw. His arm just isn't strong enough. He's looking out to his left. Watch him fade away from this thing and try and just use all arm here. He's got to anticipate the ball's got to come out on time in rhythm for him to be effective. He just doesn't have an arm that's going to be able to overpower you, or he can be late with throws.
Fitzpatrick only 1 for his last 8. 3rd down and 10 as he makes changes at the line. Able to stand in, and he completes to the tight end, Scott Chandler. Antoine Bethea with the tackle as Chandler comes up with his first reception, good for 10 and a first down. Well, apparently they got to bring out the yardsticks. From our angle, it appears he picked it up.
Well, Fitzpatrick told us last night that he really liked the matchup with Scott Chandler on both of these Colts safeties, whether it was Antoine Bethea or Tom Zibikowski. And Chandler's 6'7". It's a favorable matchup. They've got to get him more involved. Marv, you mentioned just his first catch of the game.
And it is a first down. Chad Galley, 3rd season as head coach of the Bills. He was a quarterback at the University of Florida, began his coaching career as a graduate assistant at Florida, long-time assistant coach with Denver and Pittsburgh.
I think he's a very good play caller. I don't care about their record 4-6. I think that guy is a good play caller. He does a nice job attacking you, and he also understands what their team's strengths as well as what their weaknesses are, and he does a good job trying to cover them up.
Little delay handoff to Spiller. Takes to the outside. Brought down from behind. Bethea makes the stop.
That's a good tackle by Antoine Bethea. I mean, just any tackle of C.J. Spiller in the open field is a good one, because the first guy is not usually going to be able to make this tackle. I mean, he has that sudden quickness in the burst. I mean, you just hold your breath every time he gets his hands on the ball. A shoestring tackle.
Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 at midfield. Spiller and McIntyre in the backfield. McIntyre the fullback. Tight end Chandler moves to the slot. Play action. Fitzpatrick. And it's batted down. Brings up a 3rd and 5. It appeared that Fili Moala got a piece of it.
Yeah, Moala, he's up there, boy. That was tough for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He splits a double team. Moala gets up there and gets that hand on it.
Moala goes 6'4".
He was about 7'4" there.
He has the wingspan. Now Spiller flanks out. 3rd and 5 at the Colt 48. Fitzpatrick in trouble. Nearly picked off. In the hands of Moses Foku, backup linebacker, but could not hang on.
Well, they're making it very difficult for Ryan Fitzpatrick in the pocket, man. It just seems like every time he drops back to throw, it collapses on him. He never feels Foku, who was up there around the line of scrimmage. He drops back in coverage, and Ryan Fitzpatrick never sees him. He's fortunate there.
So Sean Powell back to punt. T.Y. Hilton calls for the fair catch. I don't want this on me. Producer Roche Schneiderman said Foku with a full pop. That is 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter here in Indianapolis. The Colts in front of the Bills, 13-6. As the Colts take over. Nick Ballard's the ball carrier. Nice run by Ballard, just short of a first down. Stephon Gilmore makes the stop.
Boy, Reggie Wayne has made his impact on this game. He got going early in this one and 5 catches already for 48 yards. And you just see the comfort level and the confidence that Andrew Luck has in his veteran receiver. You look at that 15th all-time now in their all-time receiving yards. That's amazing. It's 13,000 yards already for Reggie Wayne.
Pretty impressive list. Your former teammate, Art Monk, following Reggie Wayne as Ballard gunning for the first down, does pick it up. Nick Barnett makes the stop. Ballard goes for 3. Rich, I know when you chatted the other day with Bruce Arians, he was telling you that Andrew Luck has amazing recall, a photographic memory, has the entire playbook down, and the only reason they would hold stuff back is because many of the other players don't know it as well.
Yeah, it is amazing. I'll give you a great story about what Bruce shared with us on Friday here in just a second.
All right, here's Luck to the right flat. It is caught shy of the 30 by the tight end, Wesley Saunders.
And he was talking about that amazing recall. They put him in a situation in his very first minicamp going up against the defensive coordinator, Greg Minuski, in an empty set where they had no backs, and it just, he got heated up. Minuski blitzed them every down, and it was an awful period. He turned the ball over, and Bruce said, let's go take a look at it. They went back and looked at it. 3 days later, they did the same period, and he tore him apart. And it was just amazing, Bruce said, the fact that he was able to see it, recognize it, make the correction, and go out the following day and absolutely execute to perfection.
2nd and 6, and Luck's pass was a bit low. Avery tried to give the appearance of making the reception, but it is ruled incomplete. It was covered by Leotis McKelvin.
Well, you said it was a bit low. I think that's a pretty good description of where this thing comes in at, a bit low. It's right in the midsection. He's not wearing any knee pads.
Below the midsection.
He's not wearing any knee pads, not wearing any thigh pads.
Hey, Pat, 54's the mic. Hey, 50's the mic.
The audio is incredible. You can hear him making the mic calls, so they're trying to tell you the offensive line who to block. They're going to block the 4 down and the extra linebacker.
3rd down and 6.
There's Reggie Wayne.
Well, he has the first down. Reggie Wayne. Stopped by George Wilson coming up from strong safety. That's good for 15.
Oh, he is so smart, Reggie Wayne. He understands the type of coverage. If it's man, it's zone. He does a good job using the pick from the receiver going on the crossing route above him. He just is this guy has the patience and. Jeez, man, he's just moving up that chart real quick now.
Moves up another notch. Number 11 now. 6 catches, 63 yards for Wayne. 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line.
50.
Ballard tried to cut back and lost his balance. Covered up by Spencer Johnson. So lost 7 on the play. Getting back to Reggie Wayne, I touched on it earlier that he surprised a lot of people by re-signing with the Colts. Reggie said that head coach Chuck Pagano came to him and said, we need you. And I think it surprised a lot of people around the NFL that he stayed with the team that went 2-14. Peyton Manning had departed. They knew they were going to draft Andrew Luck, but who knew that this team would get off to this kind of start?
A lot of people felt like once Manning was gone, Reggie Wayne would be next.
Luck able to complete. Caught by Levon Brazil. And that's good for 11.
Just getting back to Reggie Wayne, he said he wasn't interested in rebuilding, and rather, so the veteran guys that stuck around, he and guys like Mathis and Freeney, they talked about reloading and the fact that they've got enough veteran guys, they want to win now. And they felt like they could win now. And I think that's what Chuck Pagano, Bruce Arians, Greg Minuski, this staff, that's what they sold to the players. And we can get this thing turned around now. It's not all about just one player. It's about 53 of us getting the job done each and every week.
3rd down and 6. And it's a first down, and the ball comes out. Avery made the catch, but it's covered up by Dwayne Allen of the Colts, and it is a first down for Indianapolis.
Now they're just really working underneath. You've seen a lot of these short and intermediate routes and these little under routes, which are very difficult for these corners to cover. Avery's got to put that one away. Gilmore knocks it out. It's fortunate that Dwayne Allen's right there to clean up his mess.
Talking about head coach Chuck Pagano, we know he is watching, as he has watched everything, including tape of practice, tapes of other games around the NFL, and we wish him the very best. Flag is down. And Bruce Arians saying that he texts or talks to Chuck every day, visits him once a week.
Well, you know,
Neutral zone infraction by the defense, number 54, caused the offensive player to move. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's called on Kyle Moore.
Yeah, you look at Kyle Moore right there. He's going to get an early jump, and that's enough to get people to move along that offensive line.
Well, Bruce Arians saying that Chuck Pagano's presence is always here. In fact, his light is on his office. It remains on, will not be turned off until he comes back.
Isn't that great?
Blue 90!
First down and 5 for the Colts. Ballard able to work his way to the 25. Another Indianapolis first down. Nick Barnett makes the stop. Nice run by Vic Ballard. The Bills thought they had him. Goes for 9.
Yeah, they're really running the ball well with Ballard, and just to pay off Chuck Pagano. I mean, love talking to the coaches about, you know, they said they get more phone calls and texts. They know that he's having a good day, that he's feeling well, but he's got a setup in his room where he's able to watch all the cut-ups and the tape, and
I got you.
very involved, still very involved, and he's able to communicate his ideas and talk about the game plan early in the week. And certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to Chuck and his family.
First and 10 for the 25. Luck in trouble, gets it away. A dangerous pass as they were trying to pull him down. It was intended for Reggie Wayne, although Luck was surrounded, and Mario Williams appeared to have a pretty good grip on him.
He is so big and so strong in the pocket. He's a hard guy to get on the ground. I was watching the game last week against the Patriots, and he's got 2 or 3 guys hanging on his back, and he's still throwing the ball down the field. Very strong in the pocket.
This is the 11th play of this drive that began back at the 13. From here, a field goal would be about 43 yards. Now Ballard and Hughes in the backfield, but Luck will throw. Flag comes flying. Luck is tossed to the ground by Darius. But a flag is down.
Well, that's what the Bills need to see from Marcel Darius.
Holding, offense, number 64. The penalty is declined. Brings up third down.
It's on the center, Samson Sotelli.
Boy, he just gets tossed aside. He tries to grab Marcel Darius because he's getting beat right now, right off the ball. It's been a bit of a disappointing season for Marcel Darius. Just haven't seen the type of improvement you typically see from year 1 to year 2 through 10 games. The numbers weren't very good, just 14 tackles and 2.5 sacks coming into this one.
Second sack of the day for Buffalo, 3rd and 17 for Indianapolis. Luck with a long look. And throws on the run. It's bobbled, caught by Wayne, who gets inside the 10, has a first and goal for the Colts. Jarris Bird was able to get to Reggie Wayne, who went for 25 in all. What a day it's been for the 12-year veteran out of the University of Miami.
How impressive is this? Watch, he's getting pulled down from behind, and he's able to keep his eyes and his focus downfield and not on the rush, and you see a wide-open Reggie Wayne.
7 catches, 88 yards for Wayne. Kyle Moore providing the pressure that time on Andrew Luck. First and goal at the 7. Short set. And the pass. Well, Reggie Wayne out of bounds at the time. Stephon Gilmore with the coverage did not give much of an angle there.
Well, that's the matchup that's the best matchup that Dave Wanstead says he has on Reggie Wayne. They've got to put the rookie out there. He's their best corner, Stephon Gilmore. He just can't squeeze it. He has to win that battle. But what they're doing now is they're moving Reggie Wayne around. It's making it difficult for Gilmore to have him each time because they move him.
14th play of the drive, 2nd and goal from the 7. This is Ballard, and he is hit back for a loss. It's Gilmore coming up to make the stop, a loss of a yard.
Well, this kid's really going to be a good player, Stephon Gilmore. I mean, you see what he can do in coverage. He's also a very good run support player. But he's big, he's got those long arms, he's very good in press man-to-man coverage, and you can just see him playing with more and more confidence each week.
Let's take a listen as Andrew Luck calls the play. Luck fires, touchdown. T.Y. Hilton, his 5th touchdown of the season. It's an 8-yard pass play. T.Y. Hilton accounting for both touchdowns here this afternoon.
Yeah, they have T.Y. Hilton working the back of the end zone. These in-breaking routes have been very good today for Andrew Luck and the Colts.
Five touchdowns on the season for Hilton as a receiver and the other as a punt returner. So Vinatieri makes it a 20-6 lead for the Colts. T.Y. working that end line.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by the all-new Honda Accord. It starts with you.
An impressive drive by Andrew Luck and his Colts. 15 plays, 87 yards, 8 minutes and 4 seconds. You see the stat line on T.Y. Hilton with the 2 touchdowns. A booming kick does not allow the return. They'll bring it out to the 20. The Colts 20, the Bills 6. Back in a moment. Interim head coach Bruce Arians, little tap, saying nice job. Andrew Luck did the same last week at New England where Andrew was having his difficulties. Telling him that, Peyton Manning went through the same thing his rookie year.
Yeah, he's very coachable, though. That's the thing you love about a guy like Andrew Luck. Very inquisitive. He's always wants to learn. He's asking questions. And I think he's a guy that's really prepared for this opportunity. I think he benefited from the fact that he had that experience at Stanford with guys like Jim Harbaugh, played obviously here in Indianapolis, played in the NFL, coached in the NFL, and of course David Shaw, who coached in the NFL as well. So certainly the experience at Stanford didn't hurt him at all.
Bills start out at their 20. Fitzpatrick over the middle, a diving attempt by Donald Jones. It is incomplete. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Lara Logan travels to Africa with legendary filmmakers to show you big cats like you've never seen them before. 60 Minutes tonight. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. We are at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Some total yards this half. It's been all Colts. 2nd down and 10 for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Tight end Chandler lining up in the slot. Fitzpatrick goes the other way as Stevie Johnson tried to make the turn for the catch. But was out of bounds. Covered by Cassius Vaughn, the left corner.
Boy, Ryan Fitzpatrick has missed some throws now. This one to Donald Jones, the play before, missed that one, that back shoulder throw to Stevie Johnson. Just seems like he's out of rhythm right now.
He's 2 of his last 13.
Well, that would tell me he's out of rhythm.
Just trying to back you up with information.
That's a very good stat. I wasn't even paying attention to that. And the coverage has been good, too. You see they're struggling on third down, just 2 of 9.
Fitzpatrick Chase able to dump it off for Jackson. Pumped out by Jarrell Freeman.
Well, this Freeman kid's been impressive. 127 tackles coming into today's game. He leads them in tackles.
So the punting unit will come on. That catch a couple yards short. T.Y. Hilton is back deep. Sean Powell on to punt. Powell, the rookie from Florida State, signed as a free agent, replacing Brian Moorman after week 3.
That's a good punt.
It angles to the near side, and here comes Hilton. Not very much space, has to go sideline. A flag comes flying as Hilton takes it out of bounds. A 57-yard punt and a 10-yard return. George Wilson on the coverage of Hilton.
Really nice directional punt there, though, pinning him to the sidelines. You don't want to give this guy a two-way go. You don't want to kick him a ball right down the middle of the field.
During the return, holding by the receiving team, number 32. That's a 10-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul. First down.
Penalty called on Cassius Vaughn. And we will take a break.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And by This Is 40, the sort of sequel to Knocked Up, in theaters this Christmas.
.317 remaining in this third quarter. The Colts back in possession. They have a 20-6 lead on Buffalo. Starting out at their 12-yard line, Donald Brown is the feature back. Brown with a short pickup. Marcel Darius able to make the stop. Well, tomorrow on CBS, is she a psychoanalyst or just plain psycho? Catch an electrifying new Hawaii 5-0 tomorrow. Only CBS. I never actually thought I would pose that question. Anyway.
I'm staying with it, okay, Samson?
Second and 9.
Blue 90s! Blue 90s!
This is Brown. And Brown goes for 3, met by Brian Scott. This is a Colts team that opened the season with a 20-point loss at Chicago, followed by a win over the Vikings. Bad loss here at home against Jacksonville. Jaguars' only win of the season. Then they bounce back, a win over Green Bay. They lose at the Jets 35-9. Then they win 4 in a row against weaker competition. But last week that 59-24 loss at New England. Third down and 5. Luck is taken down. As I hear the volume of Andrew Luck, I get the feeling he's like part of our broadcast team, and perhaps I would think he belongs to After, should receive some kind of a fee.
He's helping us, isn't he? But real nice job here by Mario Williams coming off, and he brings 6. Not been good enough with their 4-man pressures, and so they're having to bring 5 and 6 to get it done there. But forced Luck to step up inside, and Mario Williams does a nice job shedding that block.
Fourth punt for McAbee, and McKelvin is back, has to backpedal. Here they come. McKelvin, who is dangerous, has been held in check. Penalty marker is thrown. Jerry Hughes on the tackle, 59-yard punt and a 21-yard return.
During the return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 33. It's a 10-yard penalty. Buffalo keeps the ball after enforcement of the foul. First down.
Called on Ron Brooks, 20-6 Colts. Buffalo back to the offense. Third quarter winding down as Buffalo takes over 1st and 10 at their 22-yard line. It's been all Colts. They have had the ball 26 minutes, or 10 minutes more than Buffalo. C.J. Spiller in the backfield had a good first half. Not much here in the second. Spiller able to get away, breaks free to midfield, and then taken out of bounds. Antoine Bethea put the speed on, was able to catch Spiller. So he goes for 41 yards.
Boy, he's so dangerous when he finds a little crease. He just like bouncing back and forth there, and he just, again, the cutback, we talk about it. A really nice angle here by Bethea, just not letting him get the sideline. But boy, I tell you, they need more of C.J. Spiller. The quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, just 8 of 22. He's struggling. Boy, Spiller needs the ball in his hands a lot more here in the fourth quarter.
First down at the Colts 37-yard line. And again, it is Spiller able to find the opening. Picks up 7, and he has gone over 100 yards. First game with 100+ since back week 2 against Kansas City. Opening day against the Jets in New Jersey, ran for 169. That was a career high. And that is the end of the third quarter. The Colts 20, the Bills 6. We'll be back in Indianapolis after this message and a word from your local station. Well, Rich, we touched on this earlier. A little background. Back in early November, the Colts mascot Blue issued a challenge to the Colts cheerleaders via Twitter. If Blue could raise $10,000 for leukemia research, cheerleaders, 1 or 2, would agree to have their heads shaved in honor of Coach Chuck Pagano. You see the process taking part as this fourth quarter gets underway. We'll get back to that in a moment. It's a second down and 4. Here is Spiller looking to bounce it out and cannot. He's bounced out of bounds. Moses Foku able to make the play. Well, here today, cheerleaders Megan and Crystal Ann. Megan on the right, Crystal Ann on the left, following through by allowing Blue to shave their heads. And together, they have raised over $20,000 through leukemia research at the IU Health Simon Cancer Center. Wait a second, do their parents know this is taking place?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, there's just the spirit and the energy in this building, the love that they have for Chuck Pagano. You see the players shave their head, and now the cheerleaders.
Third down and 2. Fitzpatrick's pass is caught for a first down and more. Stevie Johnson goes for 14.
Well, this is such an important possession, I think, for Buffalo. They're trailing 20-6. They've had to settle for a couple field goals, and we talked about they've not been great in this part of the field. They're running out of opportunities.
Fourth catch for Johnson. He now has 51 for the season. Last week against Miami, had a good day. 6 catches, 79 yards. First down at the 15. C.J. Spiller, and he is bottled up. Once again, it's Darrell Freeman, the Colts' leading tackler, leading the way. That's a 3-yard advance for Spiller. The job is done. Just a little more. Okay, Megan.
She's actually going to stay in the game, Marv. She's going to cheer in the fourth quarter. A couple pounds lighter.
Meanwhile, on the field, Corey McIntyre, the Buffalo fullback, shaken up. Medical staff out to take a look. Crowd reacting to Megan with the finishing touches being applied. So $22,000 going to leukemia research. All this in honor of Colts head coach Chuck Pagano. That's a before shot of Megan.
Well, she's still beautiful. That's great to see. And the other gal to the left, she just decided, I think this morning, right? We were told there's just going to be one cheerleader who was going to do it. So you can't afford to lose McIntyre. He's a good fullback, and he's been busy today opening up some holes, obviously, for C.J. Spiller.
A number of the Colts players shaving their heads the last few weeks.
Andrew Luck, one of them. See, it grows back, right? It'll take these guys a little bit longer, but.
Second down and 8. Fred Jackson out, the running back. Out of the gun, Fitzpatrick. Jones. Taken down at the 1 by Tom Zibikowski.
Really nice job here, little middle screen to Donald Jones. They're going to draw the rush, and you can see the offensive line get out in front of this thing. You get a good look at Levitri and Wood.
That picked up 12 for a first down. It's first and goal from just outside the 1. A touchdown, and they are right back with lots of time remaining. Just under 12 and a half to go. Jackson is the deep back. Hand off to Jackson, trying to squeeze through and could not. Stopped by Cavell Connor, the inside linebacker.
Well, they tried the old wham play with Kyle Williams. He's just going to come inside, and he's going to try and block the nose. They do a good job. They actually come off, and they just... So Kyle Williams gets walked back. Yeah, nice job there meeting C.J. Spiller right in the hole. They were not fooled by that at all.
Second and goal at the 1. The fake to Jackson. Fitzpatrick throwing, touchdown Buffalo.
Yeah, nice job by Fitz keeping it alive. Remember now, McIntyre's out of the game, and so we've got the big defensive lineman in the game, Kyle Williams.
Lee Smith, the backup tight end, with his first touchdown of the season.
Well, you can see that's actually, he runs right into the official, and then he's able to come off and make the catch. Lee Smith, nice job there though by Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was starting to his right, it wasn't there. He works all the way back across the field, is able to find his backup tight end, Lee Smith, in the end zone.
There's Lindell. So the Bills right back in it with 11 and a half remaining. Fourth quarter. They are down by 7. Well, for Buffalo, 8 plays 78 yards. And for Lee Smith, the backup tight end, second-year man out of Marshall, first career touchdown. Lee Smith, last year, 5th-round draft pick by New England. He was cut and signed by Buffalo. LaFleur is back. They're going to break a tackle as he moves out to the 24. It's a 19-yard return. We'll be back here in Indianapolis in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Assassin's Creed 3. Only PlayStation 3 gives you 4 exclusive missions, rated M for mature. Lego. Build a moment together, one Lego brick at a time. And by Cadillac, the standard of the world.
Colts starting out at their 24-yard line. The running back is Donald Brown. There's Luck, pulled down at the line of scrimmage by Marcel Darius. During the break of the action a moment ago, and we were told that Chuck Pagano would not be present here at Lucas Oil Stadium, but received a standing ovation from the crowd standing along the owner and CEO of the Colts, James Irsay. Chuck making a brief appearance. Second down at 9. It is caught across the 30-yard line by T.Y. Hilton. Picked up 6. Well, you can vote to send your favorite players to the 2013 Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Vote online or with your mobile device at NFL.com/Pro Bowl or text Pro Bowl to MyNFL. You vote, they play.
Hey, Mike's 50.
10 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Colts up now by just a touchdown. Here's the play fake, and then Luck is taken down. Mario Williams with his second sack of the day. That's 7.5 on the season.
Well, you see the fake, and Mario Williams, he doesn't buy it. I mean, he's just going right at the quarterback the whole way. And really a nice tackle here in the open field. I mean, Luck tries to step up, and Mario Williams is right there for the sack.
Flag is thrown as McKelvin takes the punt. Once again, the good coverage by the Colts, who, as I mentioned earlier, have had trouble in covering punts and kickoffs. 54-yard punt, 9-yard return. Well, the officiating crew talking things over. Keith Washington, the side judge, involved in the discussion with Ed Hockley. And both teams seem to be puzzled.
Both teams had 12 players on the field at the snap. Will therefore replay the down.
When's the last time you saw that?
I don't know if I've ever seen that. It's amazing, huh? I guess the one team felt like, well, they're going to play with 12. We might as well play with 12.
Well, there are a lot of CFL players, Canadian Football League players, on both rosters.
Well, let's see. I'm going to get my little counter here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, there we go. That's the problem. They had guys going off the field. On the other side, I don't know. There's a bunch of them in there.
Just put numbers down.
Oh, there we got him. That's pretty good, huh?
And that's where the flag came flying.
It's a quick snap.
But the discussion involved whether both teams had the extra man on, so they're kicking again. McKelvin is back by his 16. Beautiful hang time and a fair catch by McKelvin. 48-yard punt. They do not allow a return. Once again, we watch Luck taken down. Second sack for Mario Williams. 9.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter in Indianapolis. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. 7-point lead for the Colts. Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Bills back to the offense. Fitzpatrick able to click over the middle with the tight end, Scott Chandler. That's a 15-yard gain. Antoine Bethea makes the tackle.
Boy, play action's been good here now for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's finding a way to get Scotty Chandler, the tight end, involved here in the fourth quarter.
First and 10 at the 41. Fred Jackson is the running back. Able to swing it out. He has Donald Jones. Picked up just a couple, met by Josh Gordy.
Well, I think pressure has been a big story in this game, and it's been generated by this Colts rush. You see Jarrell Freeman, he gets to Ryan Fitzpatrick early. We've been talking about Freeney and Mathis all day. There's Mathis. You're going to see Freeney, he beats the left tackle. inside Cordy Glenn, and of course he's got his buddy there, Mathis, on the other side to sandwich Ryan Fitzpatrick.
You mentioned Jarrell Freeman, 11 tackles, including a sack. He's had a big day. 2nd and 8 for the Bills. And Fitzpatrick picking it up, completes now to Stevie Johnson, but short of a first down. That's good for 6.
And the Colts defense, they were very concerned with Ryan Fitzpatrick and this offense spreading them out because they feel they're limited some with respect to the personnel, particularly at cornerback. You get Greg Minowski there. He knew that the defense was good. The defensive line was going to have to generate some pressure to help those guys on the back end.
3rd down and 2 at the 49. Fitzpatrick's pass is caught for a first down. Stevie Johnson on the reception picks up 8 more. And now Fitzpatrick, who is having his troubles for the most part in the 3rd quarter, has connected on his last 8 passes, many from short range, but it is 8 in a row. We talked about this earlier. The Colts 6-4, very much alive for the wild card. This a very significant game for the Buffalo Bills, who are 4-6. You go 4-7, and you're basically out of it. Jackson, although we've seen some strange things in recent seasons. Giants, the prime example. They go 9-7 last year and end up winning the Super Bowl. One of the teams also in the hunt, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are trailing the Cleveland Browns 20-14 with 3:09 left in the 4th quarter. Ben Roethlisberger, of course, sidelined by injury. Charlie Batch, the quarterback for the Steelers.
Yeah, but if Buffalo could get a win here, Mar, that would be huge. They have 4 of their next 5 games at home. One of them being in Toronto, but 4 of their next 5. This would be a huge win for them on the road.
2nd and 3, and a terrific second effort by Fred Jackson to pick up the first down. Foku makes the stop. Jackson goes for 4. Well, the Bills, for the next 3 games back home for Jacksonville and St. Louis. They had that game in Toronto that you mentioned. That game against Seattle, then at Miami, their final regular season game at home against the Jets. Kind of a odd schedule. They opened with the Jets, they closed with the Jets. One of the better performances by the Jets this season as they won by 20 against the Bills.
And only one team with a winning record, and that's Seattle, and they have been awful on the road.
First down for the 32, another short-range pop. Jones is stopped in his tracks. Stopped by Zibikowski, the strong safety, a loss of 3.
Well, nice job by Zibikowski sorting that one out. He almost gets there before the ball does. Get another quick screen, and you see Chandler, he's trying to get out in front of it, but Zibikowski's just too quick.
Just under 5 minutes to play here in the 4th. Colts up by a touchdown. 2nd and 13 for Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Bills. Fitzpatrick over the middle, it's picked off. Intercepted by Zibikowski, and the ball comes loose. It appears Stevie Johnson made the recovery, so the Bills get it back, but they get it back in Indianapolis territory. Johnson forcing the fumble, knocked it free, and then was able to recover.
Well, what a great effort here by Stevie Johnson. Not only to make the tackle, but to use that right arm to pop it out and then to fall on it. That was a huge play by Stevie Johnson. After an ugly decision by Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, he just throws it right to Zibikowski. I mean, Zibikowski's just playing zone coverage. He never sees him. He's just going to watch Zibikowski. He's just sitting here in zone coverage. And he's trying to fit that little glance route in right behind him. He never feels the safety. Oh, what a great play here by Stevie Johnson, though. My gosh.
Looks like Feely Moala was shaken up and they're checking him out. Here's Tom Zibikowski, signed as a free agent from the Ravens out of Notre Dame, 5-year man, two-time team captain of the Fighting Irish, and feeling very good about what took place last night against Southern Cal. Here's Moala headed to the sideline. So with 4.5 remaining in this fourth quarter, 1st and 10, but back at the Indianapolis 47. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowan will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame. The Bills still alive on this drive. Fred Jackson is the running back. 1st and 10 from the Colt 47. Fitzpatrick gets a block, has an escort, and runs it out. That's a pickup of 6. All the receivers covered, and Fitzpatrick decides to hold on to the football.
Just keep an eye on Cordy Glenn. He's going to come out here and block. He's late. Actually, it's the tight end. Backup tight end Lee Smith. He's blocking Sweeney there, and looked like he grabbed him on the edge. But he got away with one there.
2nd down and 4. At the Colt 47, Spiller has returned. Fitzpatrick chased on a screen, finds Spiller, and he's contained. Nowhere to go. It's a loss on the play. Once again, it's the inside linebacker, Jarrell Freeman, who has been outstanding, causing that 4-yard loss. Jarrell Freeman, a first-year player out of Mary Hardin Baylor, which is the sister school to Baylor University.
Well, when you make something a point of emphasis in practice during the week, you seem to take care of it and do a good job with it on Sundays. And that's what they've worked on all week in practice, is the screen game to the backs. And they've not allowed Spiller or Jackson to get going in the screen game.
3rd down and 8 from midfield. Fitzpatrick fires one. Spiller not able to hang on. Took a shot. Submarine by the left corner, Cassius Vaughn.
Well, Stevie Johnson's going to go in and block, and they're trying to get Spiller matched up on the corner one-on-one, and Vaughn just goes in there and takes C.J. Spiller's legs right out as he's trying to catch this ball. He had no chance.
Punting unit comes on with 3:32 to go here on the 4th. Sean Powell on for his 7th punt. Hill lets it fly over his head. Takes a good hop for the Bills, and it's down inside the 5-yard line. Down by Ruvel Martin. 48-yard punt. Indianapolis up by 7.
Bell on CBS is sponsored by NFL Mobile from Verizon. Built to bring you the game. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own tender, juicy Subway steak melt today.
Well, look at the Colts cheerleaders, including Crystal, and she and Megan, taking one for the team, which led to $22,000 for leukemia research at the IU Health Simon Cancer Center. Donald Brown returns to the backfield as Luck's pass is incomplete, intended for Reggie Wayne. Nick Barnett on the coverage. Let's see if the Bills can make a defensive stand to get the ball back. There's Dave Wanstead, the defensive coordinator for Buffalo.
You got all 3 timeouts left too, and boy, a big 3 and out here would be huge. You give Ryan Fitzpatrick and your offense the ball back.
Mike's 55.
You're around midfield.
Hey, Ram, sword! Check out! Hey, watch him, watch 53. Blue 90s!
Once again, it is Brown. This time gets to the outside, brings it out across the 15-yard line, has a first down. That's a big play. Denarius Searcy up to make the stop as Brown goes for 11.
Well, they love these bunch sets, and it's a way for them to kind of crack and seal the edge. You go back and you look at the bunch sets, and they're all going to go down and kind of crack. And that'll allow the back to just come out. A nice job sealing the edge, and you see Reggie Wayne here. He gets a block on Gilmore as well. A big run there.
Down to 2 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in the fourth. Back to the ground for Brown. Just a yard on that play as Nigel Bradham, the strong side linebacker, able to make the stop. And a timeout called by Buffalo, so they have 2 remaining. Well, a reminder, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS with doubleheader action. Patriots and Dolphins. Colts take on the Lions. Steelers will visit the Ravens. Bengals and the Chargers will be in San Diego for that one. Check local listings, beginning with J.B. Dang, Coach Bill Cowher, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Incidentally, Mario Williams, who's played so well today, has just been given another sack by the statistician staff. He now has 3 for the day, credited for one that took place earlier in the game. Over the middle, it is complete to Wayne, who has had an extraordinary day. Another Indianapolis first down. He brings across the 30-yard line. So Reggie Wayne with 8 catches, 103 yards. He now leads the NFL in receptions. 15-yard gain on that catch. 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 7-point lead for the Colts. Check out this AFC playoff rundown. Houston at 10-1 off the win Thanksgiving Day. Baltimore 8-2. New England 8-3. Denver with a victory over Kansas City 8-3. The division leaders Miami beating Seattle. Cincinnati winning big against Oakland. Pittsburgh is trailing. And the Colts very much in the picture as they lead but try to hold on with 2 minutes to go. Hand off to Brown, has run well, but this time he is hit back behind the line. Stopped by Justin Rogers and lost a yard. Coming up on the Subway post-game show, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Subway post-game. Buffalo using its second timeout, so they have 1 remaining. The Colts have all 3 left.
Yeah, the Colts can run it 2 more times here. And even if they don't get a first down, there'll be only just a little bit over a minute left on the clock. They punt the ball there. Buffalo would have probably less than a minute and no timeouts.
It'll be a second down and 11.
Hey, 55. Second. Cold.
Avery is flanked wide to the right.
Blue 90.
Wade in motion. Hand off to Brown. Trying to slip through a hole, and he is gang tackled.
You just want to make sure you hold on to that football. You can see those Bill defenders trying to rip it out from Donald Brown.
And the Bills stop the clock once again as they use their final timeout with 1:48 to play.
We talk about ball security and how important it is. You see Donald Brown there. They've got guys just trying to rip it out. One's trying to hold him, and then the other ones are just trying to get that arm in there. He's got 2 hands on it. That's really a nice job by Donald Brown. His helmet's coming off.
On that last run, Brown getting back to the line of scrimmage, so it's a 3rd and 10. And this is a huge sequence for the Bills. Can they stop
50.
the Colts? 3rd and 10 from the 31.
Look for an inside draw here.
Fires and it's broken up. But a flag is down. Pass intended for Reggie Wayne, covered by Stephon Gilmore.
Well, if that's on Gilmore, that'll do it for the Bills. Maybe pass interference.
Pass interference, defense, number 27. The ball was placed at the spot of the foul. It's an automatic first down.
Gilmore, the rookie from South Carolina, covering the veteran Reggie Wayne.
He's had his hands full today. You see him, he's got that left arm wrapped around Reggie Wayne's waist. And you see the frustration from Ryan Fitzpatrick, knowing that he's not going to get a chance to get back on the field.
Colts can run it out here, 1st and 10 from their 39 with a minute and 44 remaining. And they're just going to sit on it. This crowd responds.
Well, it's a big win for Bruce Arians and his staff. They've now won 5 of their last 6. They're 5-1 at home, and we've been talking about they're a team to keep an eye on in this playoff race. They're getting hot at the right time.
Colts on the way to a record of 7-4, bouncing back from that blowout loss to the Patriots in New England last week. And this a huge win in terms of playoff hopes for Buffalo. Obviously a damaging loss for their wild card playoff possibilities. They'll drop to 4-7. They now have lost 4 of their last 5. You see the wild card contenders, and Pittsburgh at last look trailing in their game. Cincinnati with a win in the hunt along with Miami as they won earlier today. Andrew Luck, 20 of 37, 240 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 17 of 33, 180 yards, touchdown, and an interception. 107 yards on the ground for C.J. Spiller. Reggie Wayne, major part of the story. 8 catches, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the rookie T.Y. Hilton. One on a 75-yard punt return, and the other on a reception. So the Colts with a 20-13 victory over the Bills. And next to the Indianapolis Colts, they'll play in Detroit, and home for Tennessee, at Houston, at Kansas City, and they'll finish up at home against Houston. Once again, the final score, the Colts 20 and the Bills 13. Coming up next, the Subway postgame for Rich Gannon. I'm Marv Albert. So long from Indianapolis. You've been watching the NFL